Hey guys, I cleared Futures Rewritten Ultimate and I could not possibly be more happy to tell you that. One of my big goals in 2025 is to really talk through actions and not words, because like what they say, talk is cheap. So I really wanted to convey my thoughts and points and feelings towards the game through action. Now, people will ask, hey, did you get carried through the content? I mean, my tombstone.gg is all public, and so you can definitely look at it. I absolutely beat the pavement. I went in on Barrier Healer, on Scholar in particular, and you can see that I went in and I have been exposed to all the horrors of actually doing prog. Like, we're not talking about re-clears in PF. We're talking about prog from start to finish in PF. Holy shit. What was that? Sometimes very testing. However, I made it to the other side, and this video I'm not going to really talk just about that because I have so much more to talk about. First thing is that I am actually a really anxious person, and when you hear my videos, this is definitely a kind of curated version of myself. I'm actually really shy. I have a pretty bad anxiety. I'm always worried about how well I can perform. Thankfully not inside the bed, obviously. That has never been an issue, I tell you that, girl. But in terms of performing in raid, performing at work, imposter syndrome through the wazoo, it's just I have 2 degrees, 2 STEM degrees, hardcore math, stats, all that, and I got a really damn good GPA. It was what, a 3.9 at the end of it, good god. But in terms of everything, I've always kind of underestimated what I can do, and I've always felt nervous, and so it's very weird because sometimes I get the weirdest comments where people are like, oh, you're so cocky, and I'm like, what the hell? And then it's just okay, well, this person doesn't even know me. It's not that I disregard it, but it's very shocking because it's you could not possibly be more wrong. Now, does that mean that I don't have a stupid sense of humor? Obviously I do. I mean, I'm a bit of a brat, I'm a bit of an annoyance, I'm a bit of a I'm a mess in all different kinds of ways. But I like to have fun, I like to joke around, I like to make things a little stupid, a little lewd at times, and it's just yeah, that's just kind of who I am. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm very introverted and very nervous. And I don't have all the answers. In fact, if I had all the answers, I'm sure that a lot of the life events that I've experienced in the past wouldn't have happened. This ties directly into why I don't have a static and why I didn't even really look into getting a static for Futures Rewritten Ultimate, is because I've never actually done an on-patch Ultimate. And people will be like, oh, gasp. I mean, by this point, you already know who the big name raiders in this community are. You know them, you know that they clear week 1 or whatever, they're doing world first race. That's never really been me, and I don't think that's ever gonna be me. Especially because first and foremost, my number 1 priority is absolutely my job, and after that is things hey, I wanna get a house, I wanna that kind of stuff. Not that you can't do things at once. I mean, obviously there's examples of that, but for me, different priorities, I suppose, is how to put it. But as someone who's not a big raider, it really did come down to I don't want to join a static because I didn't think that I could. Well, I thought I could, but it's just I didn't want to hold them back. It definitely plays into what I just mentioned before. And I think that this is one thing that I also want to say. In spite of having some subscriber base, it's just I really don't like to impose myself on others, is maybe the way to put it. I don't reach out to people. I never reach out. If you have ever talked to me, I'm never the first person to reach out, because honestly, and people might be like, oh, that's your issue, blah blah blah, but it's just the way I am. But I just kind of don't want to bother anyone. It's just something that I really am bad at, is ever reaching out, because it's oh, they probably don't want to talk to me, or don't want to be a nuisance, blah blah blah. Regardless, got to clear at this point. Let's circle back to what I said at the start of the video, which is actions, not words, and that talk is cheap. And that is really something that in 2025 I'm really holding to my chest and really holding myself accountable for. Instead of saying what I want to do, I want to produce results and really focus on the results and not how something will sound. Likewise, given what I said earlier about my anxiety that I have, I spend a lot of time fretting over this, fretting over that, instead of just doing. At risk of being a little poignant is 2024 tested me in ways that honestly I know would have broken, I think, a lot of people. lost my home. I was meant to move to San Diego, had a house there. I had a job lined up there paying way more. Like my actual day job is in software engineering, 2 degrees, and then separate from the degrees I have 6 years of professional experience doing it. Well, over 6 years, 6.5. My dad, I just learned on Christmas, has cancer. I wish I was joking. Like, literally this past Christmas, like a month ago. I lost my dog. Like, there's more and more and more and more. Like, it's been quite a trying year. Like, I even was put on HRT, and that was a positive, but it was a struggle until I was on that. And so last year tested me in many more ways than that, and it was horrible, if I'm honest. However, I'm actually really proud of how I handled it, because there were definitely moments, definitely a lot. Actually, fuck that. Nearly every single night, every single morning, everything last year, I felt a bit like, what is it? If you ever watch the Marvel movies of like the Scarlet Witch, about like what does she say? Every night I dream the same dream and wake up to the same nightmare. That was quite literally how it felt. It's just like I was once again trapped in Canada. I was stripped of basically every dignity I had. It was horrible, and likewise, I couldn't enjoy things that I enjoyed before. And for the record, no therapist ever put me on anything. Like, if people are wondering, oh, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's like, what are my medications? I'm on Accutane, and I am on HRT specifically, like, test. So, like, that's literally my entire thing. And there's nothing that I'm ashamed of. So I mean, fuck it. Like, oh, he's on Accutane. Oh, the drama, fuck off. But, like, for real, though, I like, fought like a dog last year, and there were a lot of moments of weakness, I do want to say, where I was thinking, do I want revenge against him? Because, like, in terms of what Brendan did to me, like, let me make one thing clear, because I think that maybe I haven't been as clear as I could. He has done things that literally could completely destroy his career, and there are things that he has done that I'm gonna say, honestly, I don't even think that he should be legally there. But that's just my thoughts on that, and I'm not going to elaborate, because honestly, I'm proud of how I handled it, because I have, ever since he cheated on me, always had the power to kind of end his career there. Like, I always had the ability, the capacity to do awful revenge, but you know what? I chose the high road, and I continue to choose the high road. I continue to choose happiness, joy, pleasure, and I mean, whereas he clearly is rummaging in the muck, because, like, even, and I wish I was joking when I say this, even a week ago, he had someone in his own Discord server pretend to be me, like, literally, like, trying to, like, put on, like, a masquerade and, like, joke. And for the record, he also went around telling all these people, like, I don't even know, like, hundreds of people, about the things that we got up to in bed, like, our dirty things. And I'm just like, man, that is so beneath you. And yet, in spite of all this crap, I really didn't let it turn me into someone who I don't want to be. And I'm actually really proud of that. And so, in spite of all this incessant prodding, him literally stealing, the cheating, the non-stop berating me, the telling people about my kinks and stuff like that, and I wish I was joking, in spite of all that, I've managed to stay above it. I've managed to rise above it. And that was really kind of what Futures Rewritten kind of started to symbolically mean to me. It's like, I don't want to be trapped in that kind of life. I don't want to be trapped in that kind of future where I don't want that. I want a future to be rewritten. I want joy. I want happiness. I want to rise above this. Because it's just like, I know who I am. And I know that a lot of people are going to be like, girl, how the hell are you going to love anybody else if you can't love yourself? Yes, God, mama. Like, girl, let me tell you, I actually really do love myself. There's so many things about myself that I really actually think are just fucking great. And I say that in spite of what I said earlier. Like, I have anxiety. That's true. That would be a failing of mine. But there's so much that I actually really do love myself. And I know I have so much more to offer. And even with this channel, last year, obviously there was a lot going on. And I really have been kind of taking the steps forward to think, how do I want to take the channel forward? And it's really what I said before, is actions and not words. And that's really the most important thing to me, is I want to offer value. I want to build neat things. I want to create neat things. I want to explore things that haven't been explored before. And I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. Instead, I want to deliver value. I want to do something that when people get a hold of it, that it's not even about me. Like, for me, like, it's not even that. I want to do things that bring happiness to people, that bring, yeah, I will leave it at that. But that's really the point of all of this, is I wanted to demonstrate that, hey, I can do an on-patch ultimate. I can do it and progress with no static in Party Finder, absolutely eating shit. And I did that. I absolutely grinded from start to finish in Party Finder on Barrier Healer. I got absolutely smashed against the wall, and I did that. And I'm so fucking proud of that. To me, I'm just so happy about that, like, truly honest to God. And it really does tie even beautifully into the name. Futures Rewritten. That could not possibly be a more iconic thing. Like, even if we dive into some of the lore, we have Metron go in there, and then Metron takes Overeen and then basically is trying to get Gaia back and saying things like, oh, our promise will be destroyed by no one and all this and that. And I think that honestly, I could relate a lot to that, because remember, I was engaged. Like, this man, Brendan, went down on his knee and he proposed to me, and I did accept. And shit, this is gonna hurt. This is a point that I love about myself. It's like, when I make a promise, when I am loyal to someone, I really am loyal, and I really do fulfill that promise. And I feel like clearing this ultimate kind of, I know it's all symbolism, I know that it's not literally that, but it was like almost a lifting of that promise that I made. And I followed through on my promises, and shit, I'm getting a little emotional here. I'm gonna try and reel it back. But I fulfilled my promises. I protected that man. I continue to protect him. It's like what I said before. I could easily, literally have him fired from his job any point. In fact, I could literally drag him back to Canada with the shit that he said. And I'm not bluffing when I say that. There's a lot of shit that I know, and yet I have not raised a finger against him. And I'm proud of that. And I'm not going to change who I am out of pain, out of misery, and I'm really proud of that. Like, when I say that I can look in the mirror and that I'm proud of who I am and that I really do believe in a better future, I'm not bullshitting you. I'm telling you the God honest truth. I'm really proud of that, actually. But my point to Futures Rewritten is that I defeated that promise. And I moved ahead into, like, this, like, field of flowers in Norvrant, and then Rena and Gaia were, like, holding each other's hand, and I was just like, shoot. I really do believe that I can fall in love again. I do believe that I can find someone again, and I believe that I can make them happy. More than that, I know that I can offer a lot. I know I can. And it's beyond even the body, because a lot of culture is all about how do they look. Yeah, I'm on HRT. Of course I've gained a shit ton of muscle. What the hell do you think happens? But it's not just that. It's the loyalty, it's the education, it's the knowledge, it's the creativity, it's the, like, the just who I am. Like, in spite of like all my flaws, like the anxiety, like I- I'm I'm really happy with that. And so, Futures Rewritten. Let's rewrite it.